I-86 After Dark recommends simply the best cleaning services. Call 716-912-6940. Western New York's cleaning and restoration leader. From Buffalo to Long Island, this is I-86 After Dark.
Welcome to I-86 After Dark, everybody. It is April Fool's Day, Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. You got the Ginger Hammer, you got Great Dame. Dame, how's things going, my man?
Doing pretty good tonight. Did you get fooled by any of those stupid April Fool's jokes that are going around everywhere?
Yeah, I know the big one that, of course, Deion Dawkins put on there. He's like, hey, I'm going to the Dolphins. I'm like, no, you're not.
The one I woke up to this morning was Patrick Waugh from the Islanders got fired and replaced by Bruce Cassidy for the last 6 games. I'm like, who the hell would do that? Come on.
Right. Yeah, I ended up seeing that one also. I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. So it's crazy. But yeah, of course, happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Of course, if you're down in the southern tier, it's no April Fool's because you guys are doing some massive storm cleanup after the hailstorm, the rain, the floods, the possible tornado last night. So yeah, hopefully you guys are all right down there.
Yeah, thank God it didn't reach quite to me here in Cheektowaga. So
yeah, same here. I mean, had some thunder up here in Niagara Falls, but other than that, we didn't really get too much of anything. So I'm like, all right, it's that part's good, but just everyone that's needing to clean up, certainly. Hey, good luck to you. And hey, if you actually need to clean up, try our sponsor, Simply the Best. So they're available. They're doing some hard work right now. So give them a call. Of course, you see them in the intro. So you got that there. But let's get into some football news because, of course, obviously the draft is right around the corner. And, of course, right before the draft, you always have the owners' meetings. And there were actually 4 changes that have been approved. So, of course, the first one is that apparently the owners ended up passing the change where the kicking team can declare an onside kick at any time during the game. So that's the first thing. Then there is the elimination of the kicking team's incentive to intentionally kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 50. Then, of course, there was the modify the kickoff alignment requirements for the receiving team players in the setup zone. And apparently, for only 1 year, the NFL officiating department will be allowed to correct clear and obvious misses made by on-field officials that impact the game in the event that there is a work stoppage involving the game officials represented by the NFL Referees Association. What the fuck does that mean?
Is that another Buffalo Bills rule?
I don't know if it is, but it's like, how is it only if there's a work stoppage?
Oh, that's weird. I don't really like the whole onside kick thing anyway. I mean, why do you got to declare an onside kick? It's part of the game.
Right.
You should be able to call. You should be able to call it and not declare anytime you want to do it.
Yeah, just kick it onside if you choose you want to do it. I mean, if the other team doesn't line up in an onside formation, hey, that's their problem.
Yeah, I mean, the chances of recovering before all these rules came into place was pretty slim. And now it's like almost non-existent.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, I'm just a little confused about that whole thing. But then, of course, modifying the alignment requirements for the receiving team players. It's like, and are we just like nitpicking formations now at this point?
Yep. Illegal shift, illegal formation.
Yeah. 10 yards. Here you go. Take the freebie. So it's crazy. But Of course, what we'll do as we go throughout the show tonight, obviously, if you want to check out some of our past stuff, go to our YouTube channel. Also, check us out on Spotify. We're there. And before the end of the show tonight, we're also going to reveal the next interview that's coming up. So, of course, stay tuned for that. And we'll be here. But then there were some other things that were talked about during the owners' meetings today. And one of the things that ended up coming out of it is that the NFL owners have approved an expansion of behavioral and mental health services, and teams must now have a full-time mental health clinician at their facility.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing at all. So I don't think anybody would be really against that.
No, I'm not. It's like, hey, someone needs help with something, by all means, there you go. Now you have it on site.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these athletes nowadays, they're treated like machines more so than human beings.
Right. Yeah, and mental health is definitely not a thing to play around with. I mean, we've seen it where people end up getting affected pretty bad by it, and there's been times where I've seen good friends end up getting affected by it. We've seen celebrities be affected by it. I mean, shit, I even got help for myself actually last year. So, there's times, hey, we all go through some stuff at one point or another, but the biggest thing is, hey, reaching out is one of the toughest things, but once you do, you get the help you need and all is good, it puts you back on the right path. So yeah, definitely no complaints on that one, and certainly support that. And then,
yeah, that was pretty much a no-brainer there.
Yeah, that's an easy one. And then of course, with Ari Myrev, he was actually talking a little bit more about that rule change that if replacement refs are used this season, how the NFL officiating department in New York can correct clear and obvious misses that impact the game. So one of the examples he gave, if the so-called Fail Mary were to happen again with replacement refs, they can correct the call. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't quite get that one, but
I don't either. It's like, why can't you do that with the regular refs? I mean, seriously, the regular refs screw up enough as it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know, one of the exciting things that they also did was they finalized the 9 international games in 2026.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment as well. So it is crazy that they ended up doing that, but no, that's one of the things we'll cover. Then obviously, another thing that also came up is that the Pittsburgh Steelers proposal to make permanent the 2025 rule, allowing teams to have one call with up to 5 unrestricted free agents during the legal tampering period. And there's no time frame on that. That's locked in going forward. And there's no years that they mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah. So legal tamper. So basically, the tampering period is alive and well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not kid ourselves that we know it's happening in the background. It's just some teams get caught, some teams don't.
Yep.
I mean, look at all the things that the Patriots got away with over the years. They even got caught and still nothing really happened, or they got a slap on the wrist.
Right. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll get rid of your 7th round draft pick, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, that's nothing. So yeah, legal tampering as well. Then another change that they ended up having is that the owners approved a change to the scheduling policy, clarifying that Friday games are no longer considered short weeks. So previously, teams were limited to 2 short week games per season, which were typically Thursday games with less rest. Now, that rule still applies, but for now, the Friday games like the Black Friday or Christmas this year will not count towards that limit. So a team can play 2 Thursday short week games and still be scheduled for a standalone Friday game, giving TV partners like Amazon a lot more flexibility and coverage.
That's not good.
No. Means teams are going to be beat up a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely going to lead to more injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then on top of that, so Ari Myrev also mentioned, because Christmas falls on a Friday this year, the NFL will play multiple games that day in addition to the Black Friday game. So by passing the proposal, an NFL team is now allowed to play 2 Thursday games, which are considered short weeks, and a Friday game as well, which is no longer a short week. So yeah, instead of the NBA having sole games on Christmas, now it's football as well. So sorry, NBA.
Yeah, did you enjoy the holiday games last year?
All right. I mean, there weren't really that many great matchups, but they were all right.
Not really. The matchups were horrible, but
Yeah.
it gave me something to do other than basketball. So.
Right. So there is that. But it's nice at least, we've got a couple different things going on with it now. So that's a big plus. And we'll just see what comes out of those matchups. But then now the Miami Dolphins, they're in the news again. So first, of course, we all know Stephen Ross is an idiot. We all know what they did with Tua. We all know they have an insane amount of dead cap. But Ben Lin, the co-founder and vice chairman of Xiaomi, is acquiring a 1% stake in the Miami Dolphins, along with Stephen Ross's full portfolio of Hard Rock Stadium, the Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix, and the Miami Open, which is worth a record-setting valuation of $12.5 billion, which is the highest in professional sports.
What do you think 1% ownership of the Dolphins gets you?
Maybe, let's see, whatever their valuation is, which I don't even know what the fuck it is right now because of dead cap. Let's see, how much are the Miami Dolphins worth? Good old ChatGPT. Let's see what it comes up with. Yeah, they're only worth about, apparently everything all together is worth 12.5, but apparently the Dolphins themselves are worth at least $5.065 billion or something like that.
Okay.
So you're making at least a couple $100 million off of it. Maybe.
Does he get to make any decisions? No.
Minority investor.
I never understood why people do that. Just to say, oh, I own the Miami Dolphins.
Why would anyone want to own the Miami Dolphins when they're in a total state of suck?
I don't know. I mean, those opportunities don't come around very often, so I guess it's just bragging rights, I guess.
Yeah, it could be. Well, think of it in this way. Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter own a minority stake of the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it could be something similar, when you look at it that way. But
yeah, and then they every time the Bills do something, they always run those two out. Like, oh, look, here's our owners. Mm-hmm. It's like, at least they're celebrities, I guess.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So that's some of the things that ended up coming up in the NFL owners meetings. And obviously they're still ongoing. So we may have some more as we get to next week's show. But on top of it, there's going to be a record 9 international games this year. And this is actually something, Dame, that you mentioned. And basically 4 continents, 7 countries, and 8 different stadiums. So London's going to have 3 of the games. Melbourne will be the season opener in Australia. Rio de Janeiro, Mexico City, Munich, Germany will also feature games, as well as Paris, France for the first time ever. So some of the games that are going to be featured is, first and foremost, the season opener on September 10th. That's going to be the Rams versus the 49ers in Melbourne, Australia at the Cricket Ground. Then in London, coming up later this season at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is, of course, as many people know, is what the new Buffalo Bills Stadium is based off of. They're going to host the Jaguars and Commanders. And, of course, there's also going to be games at Wembley Stadium on top of that. So then, as we go forward, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil at Maracanã Stadium, which is going to have the Dallas Cowboys participating in that. Mexico City, Mexico at Estadio Banorte. That's going to be the San Francisco 49ers playing an opponent. Munich, Germany at FC Bayern Munich Stadium. The Detroit Lions will have a game there. Paris, France at Stade de France. It'll have the New Orleans Saints. And then, of course, Madrid, Spain at Bernabeu Stadium, which basically they don't have anyone chosen for that yet.
So. I mean, lots of road trips.
Very true. There will be. But it's interesting, though, that the NFL is going into some of these new countries like France and Spain where we haven't seen games before. I mean, Germany, they had one this year. And then, of course, Mexico and Brazil are going back, I think, for like the second or third time. And then Australia is going to be the interesting one at the old school cricket grounds. So,
yeah. I don't know. Like if Aussie Rules Football came over here and played a game to try to expand here in the United States, I really wouldn't care. But
right.
I don't know. There's got to be a market for it.
Yeah. I would say, you ever watch an Australian Rules Football game?
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah, me either. Me either. I mean,
Just like
I
I don't
watch it.
understand cricket. I've tried watching cricket, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. It's like weird with how they have the pitches. It's weird with like how they count like the home runs or whatever they call it. It's almost like an imitation of baseball without it being baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But then Australian rules football. I'm like, is this rugby or is this something else?
I don't know. It's like Gaelic football, but mixed with rugby, with sort of some football. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, instead of throwing with one hand, you're kind of throwing with two, and you can kind of kick wherever you want, and no helmets and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, it's just kind of interesting. And then they have the scrum. So, it's a little interesting when it comes to that. But I've just never understood like the whole point of what that is.
I don't know. My brother is married to an Australian woman, so maybe I could ask her when I go down to Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. so with that also, one of the things that ended up coming out is that the Bills are going to possibly trade up, and one of the things that they are looking at is that they want to get a pass rusher because there is some concern for depth, and especially one of the things that there's two different ways they could go about it. I mean, they could obviously trade up in the draft, or they could try to go after a veteran pass rusher. Now, part of where this is coming from is that obviously with Jim Leonhard coming in and transitioning to a 3-4 defense versus the 4-3 that we've been using, there are going to be some holes that we still have to fill. And the Bills have started working on that. But at the same time, one of the things that some are suggesting is that perhaps maybe you look at trading for Kayvon Thibodeau, who is a former 5th-round pick. You could even look at Myles Garrett, which there are some rumblings that there may be some interest there, especially after he restructured a deal. There may be some others we look at in the draft. So, because, I mean, even though we've signed Bradley Chubb, I mean, the problem is that we don't have a lot of elite talent there. And especially if you can get like some picks, like perhaps like going after like a TJ Parker or some of the others that we talked about last week, I mean, they're going to have to do something. I mean, especially when you look at the fact that if Bosa's not coming back, obviously Miller is long gone. So you got to fill the hole there somewhere. But you also
I heard Max Crosby is available.
Yeah, after the whole thing with the failed physical. So,
but here we go again. The draft's coming up, and the Bills are looking to trade up for defense again. Are they ever going to draft a wide receiver? Ever?
Yeah, seriously. It's like, what are they going to do? Just go with like wide receiver by committee again? Look what that happened this past year.
Yeah.
It didn't do much.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to see them try to draft a receiver at some point in the last decade.
Yeah, same here. I mean, they need it. It's definitely one of the things they need to do. And they have to get Allen some weapons. There's no doubt about that. So it's just crazy. But when you look at what has happened, especially with the wide receiver core, I mean, isn't it brutal that only one Bill hit double digits during Sean McDermott's entire tenure of 9 years here? Take a guess. Leonard Floyd.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible because they have such an elite quarterback that can make things happen, and they just think, well, we just give him whatever and he'll make them better. I kind of equate it to, my Islanders with Sorokin. Sorokin's such an elite goaltender that it's like, oh, we could just plug this shitty defenseman in front of him and he'll make the save.
Right.
Yeah, like maybe 8 times out of 10 he will, like Josh Allen, but it doesn't work ultimately down the road.
Right. Or even another comparison when the Sabres had Dominic Hasek for the decade that they had him. He covered up so many gaping areas that the Sabres had back at the time, and he was able to save games on his own. But then there were times he couldn't. But at the same time, you can't put everything all on one player's shoulders there. It's just not realistic. So obviously with what's going on, yeah, they're transferring to the 3-4, as we all know, and they're light on the edge rushers. And really, the only other options you have right now are Bradley Chubb or Greg Russo. Those are your only in-house options that are actually worth it. And the problem that the Bills have right now is that the defense ranked 20th in sacks and 27th in the pass rush last year. Now, Michael Hoyt, he was next in the outside linebacker pecking order, but of course, who knows what's going to happen after he blew his knee out last year, early in the season. So there's issues there possibly. Then all you have is Andre Jones and Javon Solomon, and none of them, those two, have done virtually nothing over 5 years.
So ultimately, what do you think the Bills are going to do? Do you think they're going to trade up for the pass rusher, or are they going to stay put?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up. I mean, especially if you get someone like high up in the first round. I mean, I would trade up potentially, but it's like you almost have to take a look at what some of the other needs are, because I would rather, in a way, I would want to almost try to go to free agency, get a pass rusher, but and use a pick on a high end wide receiver. But it's like both areas, you have to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see that too. Unfortunately, it seems like this wide receiver class is not a very strong class, and there's not many of them.
Yeah, and bringing in DJ Moore, of course, that helps some of it, but at the same time, I mean, I would expect that DJ Moore probably will be better than what he had in Chicago, because I mean, you look at the difference between the two QBs. I mean, it's no contest. Allen's better all day, every day.
Yeah. What do you think about them bringing in Tyreek Hill?
Oh, Jesus. That's another April Fool's that ended up coming out.
I mean, I half joke, but I mean, when's the last time that the Bills had a receiver that was as fast as he is?
Right. It's been a very long time. I mean,
Like
it's
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's just nuts with what they've got going on there. We just have not had a good core. We just haven't. And then, I mean, okay, Beasley could do some stuff in the slot, but that's what he was limited to. He couldn't do anything else. So it's not been a good situation for a while. But the All Over J fan club is here, and he's like, Bills need to focus on the front seven and secondary since they have the 26th pick. What's happening, fellas? Ginger, where the F is your Sabres jersey? Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I'm glad they won last night. Yes, they kicked the Islanders' ass. They came from behind. And,
I don't know.
Although we lost Sam Carrick for a while, so there's that. Lee whooped his ass in that fight. But
yeah, well, it's just well, I don't want to get into it yet because we'll say that for the second half. Yeah, I was actually at that game, so.
Yeah, I was saying, I think he had the meetup right before it, if I remember, or
we met up at other half. I think about 10 of us showed up.
Okay,
so
nice.
It was all right.
Yeah, so good stuff. But yeah, Jay, I do break out the Sabres jersey from time to time. You'll probably see it as we get into the playoffs, because the Sabres only need to win one more game to clinch it. So that's kind of where we're at. But we'll talk more about the game in a little bit, so we'll get there. But thinking about it, it was actually interesting because when you look at NFL.com, they had a couple things that they're thinking should happen in round one of the draft. So one of the things that they're thinking about is that, of course, the Jaguars and Browns made a swap involving top 5 picks. The Giants traded back into the first round last year, of course. The Falcons did the same in a swap last year where they ended up going for James Pierce Jr. So some of the things that they're kind of speculating on, and wanted to kind of see what you think here. One of the proposals that NFL.com put out there is that if the Commanders were to make a trade in picks and players with the Detroit Lions, basically the Commanders would receive the 2026 first round pick from the Lions, which is number 17. the 2026 sixth round pick, which is number 205 overall, and tight end Sam Laporta. But then the Lions would get tight end Ben Sinnott, a 2026 first round pick, which is the 7th pick overall, and the 2027 third round pick. So what they were kind of thinking is that they don't think Laporta would be traded. It would not be traded, but at the same time, they wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So if I'm
Lions are like, they're in like a precarious situation. It seems like their window kind of closed. It seems like, and they could retool quickly, or they can go into rebuild mode again.
Right. And it's nuts because, I mean, after Campbell had that great year, and it was good, and don't get me wrong, it was great to see the Lions back in the playoffs finally after years and years of absolute misery. But once he ended up giving up, of course, both assistant coaches, I mean, we saw what happened. The offense started to go downhill. Defense wasn't great. Chicago finally ended up in the playoffs for the first time in years. The Jets are just the Jets. They suck. But
they just be jetting, like I say all the time.
Yeah, and now Geno Smith gets to go back to the green machine there. But it's also interesting just thinking about it, because one of the things they also bring up is that Kittle and McBride reset the tight end market last year, so both of them are getting over $19 million a year, and that was before Kyle Pitts ended up getting any type of extension. So their thought is, can the Lions afford to pay Laporta even close to that? But then they also have to pay Jahmyr Gibbs, who has 2 years left on his deal, including the 5th-year option, Jack Campbell on the same timeline, and then safety Brian Branch, who has a year left, but he's also recovering from an ACL tear. So it's almost, if you're Detroit, what do you do on this? And yet at the same time, it's kind of interesting to see why the Commanders would possibly want Laporta.
I don't know. I guess because they're building that new stadium. They got to get some stars in there.
Right. Right. Yeah, they'll have to. So, but then another thought that NFL.com threw out there is with the Vikings and the Eagles. So basically they're saying the Vikings would get from Philly a 2026 first round pick, which is number 23 overall, and then a 2026 second round pick at number 54 overall. The Eagles would get the 2026 first round, which is number 18, 2026 third round at number 82, and a 2026 sixth round, which is number 196 overall. So it's almost in that sense, if I'm Philly, I'm like, okay, I'm actually moving up a little bit in the first, which is not bad. More opportunity to get some players. I mean, Philly does have to retool a couple things. But at the same time, who knows if A.J. Brown's coming back?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you. What's going on with the A.J. Brown situation?
Yeah, I think they're still looking to possibly trade or do something. But
I think it's going to be really tough because, wide receivers out of probably almost any position, kind of prima donnas. But usually their problems when they're not winning, but the Eagles have been winning and he was still a problem. So I don't see a team giving up much to get him.
Yeah. I mean, and a couple of examples that they even threw in there is Devontae Smith or Jalen Carter, where he only moved up like 1 or 2 picks.
We got a big one here. You heard Nakua is in rehab.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he got a little hungry.
Yes, he did. And apparently with that whole thing, it is reported in the New York Post that he checked himself into rehab following allegations of biting the woman while drunk on New Year's Eve, which we talked a little bit about that last week. But the Rams receivers attorney, Levi McCathern, confirmed with the California Post on Wednesday that his client has been at a luxury treatment center in Malibu.
Those are tough, man. Yeah. I could use a luxury treatment center in Malibu right about now.
Yeah, sitting on the palm trees, on the beach. You're right on the ocean. You don't have to worry about anyone else coming in. It's just like relax and enjoy.
Yeah.
So
too bad I can't have a drink, but
yeah.
the sacrifices I will make.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, there is one thing we can always drink on this show. We know that. So we've all done that before.
Actually, I forgot. I didn't even get a beer today.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Gotta crack one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my
That's
neighbor
probably why I'm so sleepy. I gotta wake up.
Right. I was almost debating if I want to break out a shot of Maker's Mark on the show here. I've got the bottle.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
My neighbor got me one. So,
You heard that, Maker's Mark. You want to be a sponsor on the show?
yeah, absolutely. Hey, we'll
I used
probably
to have a
drink that.
giant bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because I think I don't know what happened. I ended up having a bottle over at my neighbor's house. I almost have to think that it probably got used up. So then a fresh bottle was brought over to my house, like completely like sealed up. I'm like, oh, thanks. So I think my neighbor replaced it after she drank it.
That's very nice of her.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about $35 a bottle. So
Yeah.
I can tell you that at the major liquor store right by my house. So I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
there's one down the street from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Jay says the Patriots are pursuing AJ Brown. Well, that's no surprise.
The Patriots are pursuing everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're pissed off they lost in that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. They got lucky getting there. I don't care what anybody says. They got extremely lucky getting there, and they're gonna be exposed this year. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they had like arguably one of the softest schedules in the NFL. So of course they were able to stack wins, but at the same time, when they showed up against tough teams, they didn't get the job done.
Oh.
I mean, Seattle.
Look at that. I just got the notification from ESPN that Puka Nacua is in rehab.
What's ESPN doing? Watching our show and just tweeting stuff now all of a sudden?
I didn't know ESPN was watching our show, so that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Hey, we'll gladly take it. It's all good. I just got. Nice. You know what? Got an idea. Let me bring the bottle out. I'll be right back.
There you go. Well, cheers to something. Wait, does All Over Jay, do you work for ESPN? Is that how you knew before?
All right.
All Over Jay must be an ESPN insider.
Yeah, he may be. And here we are, guys. The bottle of Maker's
Mark.
All right.
Well, what do we want to toast to?
Well, first and foremost, producer John, congratulations on getting your independent promotion down in St. Louis. So he's going to be working with one of the independent wrestling federations down there. Of course, he has his show during the week. So of course, check out Around the Ropes or above the or Around the Ropes. So got that. So here we go, guys. Here's a shot. He's got his beer.
Cheers to a good draft coming up.
Absolutely.
Smooth.
Damn, that woke me up.
And Jay said, "I know, Dame. I should work for them." Apparently. Mm-hmm. And cheers.
Holy fuck, that woke me up.
Nostrovia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, of course, at the beginning of the show, we talked about all the storms and everything, and it is now official. It was an EF1 tornado down in Cattaraugus County yesterday.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I used to work for the Holiday Showcase restaurant. It was famous for losing its roof.
Yeah, I remember that.
Tornadoes.
Yeah, it was like 1987. I lived out there. I was out in Cheektowaga at the time growing up. So I will tell you that.
So that was like the thing. Everybody would come in and be like, "Didn't a tornado come in?" Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So, but at least, nobody was hurt from what we understand. So that's a big plus. So, glad to hear that. But yeah, there's going to be some big cleanup going on. So
I know I heard hail and I was like, coming my way. And I'm like, come on, I just got a brand new car.
Right. I was going to say, how is the car treating you?
Very nice. I got a 2025 Volkswagen Taos. And it's
Nice.
quick little car. So,
Yeah.
though it's not really, it's little on the outside, but on the inside, it's quite big. So,
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And then, of course, I just want to say to our friends down the Southern Tier, if you guys need any cleaning or restoration from the storm, our friends is Simply the Best. If you guys watch us, give them a call, 716-912-6940. They work with insurances, and they also can help get you cleaned up, pumped out, and anything you need. So, if you need them, tell them we sent you.
yes, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a couple other things I'm thinking just with what we have going on in the NFL right now, and it is kind of funny where they're going through some of the possible options. But one of the things, and I'm not sure if you heard about this, but good old Aaron Rodgers, he might come back for one more year, but he wants $30 million.
Why would anybody pay him that?
I sure as hell wouldn't.
I mean, there's many more options out there that would be cheaper and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, God, even Geno Smith would be better with that team.
Yeah. I don't know. This dude, he just won't disappear. But I don't think he really has anything else really going on outside of football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he does either, quite honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I know what story I heard this week too. Did you see that Tom Brady's part owner of the Raiders?
Yeah.
And he was talking about coming out of retirement, and the NFL squashed that. Like, you can't be an owner and play for the team.
Right. Yeah. And then, of course, it was interesting also that the Super Bowl sites ended up coming out, and 2029 is going to Sin City. It's going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, what a surprise. I mean, who saw that coming?
Right. I mean, we know it's going to SoFi again. That's not a surprise either.
Yeah, that's a great stadium, though.
Yeah, it is.
Can't argue with that.
No, that would be one of the ones I'd want to see at some point, just going in there, and of course Lambeau is one I would love to see at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah,
so there's that. And then JS, what's the story with Chicago and the new stadium? So they don't have a site right now. They're still looking at different places.
Still up in the air.
Yep. And then Bobby's here. He says Geno Smith has a better chance of being a giant bum. Oh, wait, that's already true.
That's Mr. Bum to you.
Yeah. Mendoza put on a show today in Indiana. Yeah, we got the scouting combine.
Mm.
And yeah, he did look good.
Yeah, but the Raiders will ruin him, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a quarterback can't go to the Raiders. A quarterback can't go to the Jets. There's just certain teams. It's like, I don't know. They're just going to destroy them no matter what.
Right. That's very true. And then to answer Jay's question about the Bear Stadium site. So one of the things they're looking to do is choose a site at some point this spring or summer. And they're not in a massive rush to do it, but they're in a good position. They have land that they own in Arlington Heights, Illinois, which is outside of Chicago, or in Hammond, Indiana, which is also outside Chicago, but on the opposite side of the state line. So they had hoped to start construction last year. Obviously, that didn't happen. Of course, the Bears want to get out of Soldier Field, where they've been for more than half a century. Indiana lawmakers are trying to get them there with a plan to finance and build a dome stadium about 25 miles from their current stadium. And then the Illinois General Assembly has responded with legislation that would give tax breaks to mega projects of at least $100 million, which would, of course, encompass the Bears' proposal to build a complex on the 326-acre tract of land that they own in Arlington Heights. So it's the same distance from Arlington Heights to Soldier Field. So so whichever way, they're still going to be further out. But one of the things that the chairman, George McCaskey, acknowledged is that crossing state lines would be an adjustment for fans, but he also pointed out to the Giants and the Jets as teams that have been successful by crossing state lines. And of course, as we all know, the prison MetLife is over in Jersey.
I mean, I think that's sort of a different situation because you look at that the tri-state area there. You got New York City, you got northern New Jersey, you even got parts of Connecticut.
Yep.
You could have went into. It's kind of all the same area, even though it's 3 different states.
Yeah. And it's like in New York City, I mean, you can take a commuter train over into Stamford, Connecticut, which is super easy to do. You can ride a train into Jersey, which that's easy to do. I mean, literally to drive like from New York City to Philadelphia is only like 2 hours, depending on traffic. So that's not far. But literally driving to Connecticut, probably at least an hour or something in traffic or whatever it is you want to call it. But it's kind of almost like a similar thing. Like if you're driving across the state line into Indiana from Chicago, I mean, it's not that far out.
I'm just surprised that the Indianapolis Colts are fine with this, though, bringing another team.
Yeah. I mean, but then, Hammond, Indiana is still part of the Chicago market, honestly. But
I hear you, but I mean, the NHL has been wanting to expand to Hamilton for a while, and Toronto and Buffalo have been
they're like, hell no.
against it.
You're right. Yeah, they want the exclusivity.
Yeah, but it's like I think the problem with the Bears being downtown is football is kind of a culture within itself.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that culture is being able to tailgate outside the stadium.
Right.
I mean, that was the coolest part of going to a Buffalo Bills game.
Mm-hmm.
Almost more so than the game itself, especially when the Bills were bad.
Yeah.
The tailgate. Like, we went for the tailgate. The tailgate was, like, the best. And you can't, like, the Jets and the Giants, you can't build a stadium on Long Island or New York City and get that tailgate experience. So going out to New Jersey, and they built it in the middle of a swamp.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't really much out there. But you get that huge parking lot. You get that tailgating experience. So I think that's what the Bears are kind of missing, being in downtown and Soldier Field. So I think them moving out of the city will definitely benefit them.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at like even Buffalo, for example, how they originally had the old rock pile, which was on the east side near the Central Terminal, kind of in the fruit belt. They move out to Orchard Park. You have a ton of parking. You have the tailgating. That's worked out. Obviously, they're keeping that for the new stadium that's gonna finish up in June. So you're still gonna have the parking lots there. I know they started actually doing interior demolition on the current stadium this week. So hey, if you want one of the urinal troughs, you can buy it online.
Yeah, I saw them taking the chairs out, and I was like,
yeah,
I know they're selling a lot of those chairs, but damn, I don't know who was in charge of demolition, but it looked like they just ripped those fucking things out of there.
Yeah, it's like really the frames were still there. Yeah, it's like all they were taking out is like the backs of them. It's like, give me the whole damn seat.
Yeah,
right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, the bleachers.
But I mean, when the Bills were talking about going downtown, I was like very against that because I feel like you'd lose all that tailgating experience.
Yeah, and I could see why people wanted it downtown, obviously, to try and spark some different things down there. Actually, what I had originally thought was when they had that Outer Harbor Stadium proposal, you'd have all that freaking land there, except the NFTA ain't gonna give that up anytime in this eternity of a lifetime. But that would have been pretty nice in the fact that they could have built right on the waterfront. You're just right outside of downtown. You could have had all the parking lots you wanted, still have the tailgates, everything like that.
Yeah.
Finally put that bridge back in where the General Mills plan is. It's been out for years. But of course,
I think the only thing that's missing on like the new stadium is like mass transit going out there, whether it be the rail or at least a bus route to get people out there.
Well, supposedly they're going to have like a bus like set up there now when they open it.
They should.
Which they should. But realistically, extend the rail out there. I mean, you've got a lot of like unused rail track that you could do it with.
I think people were just scared because of what happened with Main Street. Because they kept saying, when they put the original rail in, that Main Street was thriving, and then they put the rail in, and it kind of killed Main Street.
Right.
So I think people were kind of leery about that, and they don't want a rail in their backyard, of course.
Yeah. But then at the same time, they've been gradually reopening Main Street to cars and to the train,
Mhm.
which, is helping. And in the spots where it has opened back up, at least it's a little bit better. It's not completely there yet, but it's getting a little bit better. I mean, and actually, it's interesting. I've actually driven on on the tracks down there with the parts that were reopened, and it's like, yeah, it's only 15 miles an hour, but it's fine. It's not a big deal for what they did, and I think they reopened part of like the tracks downtown where the old Aud used to be also. So they're just doing it in stages.
Yep.
But now that they've extended the train out to DLNW right behind the arena, and they're going to put the bridge in to get into the arena, and now it's like, what? Maybe at this point, now that you've at least got that part set, extend it like up South Park and go up to where you have the tracks, like kind of close to the Tesla plant, and extend it south.
Yeah, I would love to see it go down like Route 5. I mean,
yeah, or at least
there's not a lot of houses out there. You could extend it out that way.
Yeah. I mean, they could run it on like the freaking yard where it's like goes underneath Tift, goes underneath Ridge Road. You can run it out, like have like stop in Lackawanna or something, have something off of Tift. They could literally have a stop out in Blaisdell or be right by the Ford plant, and you could probably drop it off right by Route 5 and Big Tree on the one side, and then have one part of it go right out to the stadium. I mean, that's easy to do.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's design it.
Hey, I actually do have a fantasy map on Google, so I can always drop the link in there if anyone wants to see what I came up with. But yeah, apparently, actually, I guess Citizens for Regional Transit actually like it. They asked me for permission to use it, so I'm like, okay, hey, that's all good.
Yeah, and then Oliver J said, guys, what do you think about OBJ meeting with the Giants? Should they bring him back? Hell no.
It's washed up. And he blew off a finger.
Him gone when he was in his prime when they traded him, and Giants fans were freaking out. I'm like, he needed to go. He was a cancer. I mean, you look at the players they had before him. I mean, out of the three, it was Plaxico Burress, Victor Cruz, and then OBJ.
Right.
Plaxico Burress was by far the best player. Of course, he had to go out and shoot himself in the leg.
Yep.
That's a whole nother story. But they won a Super Bowl with him. Victor Cruz comes in, they win a Super Bowl with him. OBJ comes in and they do shit.
Right.
He was horrible.
And he blew out his knee.
Yep.
So, and then Jay ends up saying property taxes are a killer. Yes, they are.
Yeah, especially in Chicago. It's really expensive there.
Yeah, I think it's almost 11% sales tax or something crazy on top of it. But then again, if you're in the city of Buffalo, the mayor wants to raise property taxes 25%. So,
yeah, and they would still be way under where the suburbs are.
Yeah, but he's all right with paying 4 deputy mayors that do absolutely nothing. So,
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I don't mind paying taxes if the money was being spent like wisely,
right?
But a lot of it is just going to like grift.
Yeah.
All you got to do is look at California. They're still building that bullet train that they've been building
to nowhere
for about a decade, 15 years, and they haven't even laid any tracks.
Yeah.
They're at like 400 million or half a billion. I don't even remember
something
without doing anything.
Yeah, and that project kept going up. But then, of course, we all know New York State. The general fund.
Yeah, they love that one. The slush fund.
Yeah, the black hole to nowhere.
So, yep. Well, at least Hochul reversed her demand on going to like electric and all this crap.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, one thing I will say with my place, I love the fact that my apartment has gas appliances in it. My old house had gas appliances in it.
I made sure I had gas.
Absolutely.
I like to cook with gas. I don't want electric.
Same here. I don't want it either because it takes a million freaking years for a pan to heat up on a stove. It's like with gas, it gets up to temperature so much quicker, so much easier to work with.
Well, that's like I don't even go with an electric car yet because the grid is not great charging. I don't have that electrical out in my garage, so I would have to run that out there to charge it. So I went with gas again.
Yeah, and it's almost like you have to run like a 12 amp or something, and it's like that has a cost, and then you're not going to be making it up on tax breaks or anything or credits.
Nope.
And
It's
then you
just not
also
economically feasible yet.
right. And then you also figure on top of it with the cold temperatures in Buffalo that we have in the winter, that's going to kill the battery.
That too. I don't want to. My car, because after I broke my leg, it was sitting in the driveway for I think maybe 2.5 weeks, and the battery died.
Yeah. And that's like you have to jump it. So,
Yep.
yeah, which.
So, no, thank you.
Yeah.
She's an idiot.
No way.
I can't wait till she's done.
Yeah. Hopefully that happens this coming November. So,
Hopefully.
yeah. And yeah, I've never liked her either. So, we usually don't get political on the show, but I will just say,
well, now that we got all the political
like
rants out of the way and everybody's left, maybe we should take a break.
Yeah. So of course, as we come up into the second half of the show, we're going to hit some of the NHL news, a little bit of baseball, possibly. We'll talk about the interview coming up at 10 p.m. Eastern, which I know we touched on a little bit last week. And then, of course, we'll take more of your comments. So stick around. We'll be right back.
All right. See you on the other side.
This episode of I-86 After Dark is brought to you by Superfry, right here in Merrick, New York. Superfry is serving up homemade soup, legendary hand-cut fries, and wraps that always hit the spot. And if you're hungry for something next level, try the Zazzini, stacked with crispy bacon, melted mozzarella cheese, juicy chicken cutlet, and their signature Roscoe dressing. One bite and you'll know why it's a local favorite. So when you're craving real flavor, head to Superfry in Merrick, New York. Big taste, handcrafted, and always fresh. To place your order, call 516-379-SOUP or just scan the QR code on your screen and get Superfry fast.
All right. Welcome back to the second half of I-86 After Dark. You got Dame, you got me, the Ginger Hammer. So, of course, we're going to go right into the second half of the show because there's been some hockey news over the last few days. And one of the things we want to talk about is, of course, the Sabres and the Islanders, because we had the matchup last night. And basically what ended up happening on that.
Maybe you want to talk about it. I
don't know. Well, here's what happened. So the Sabres end up winning last night. And of course, right now, Islanders are still in the playoff hunt. Obviously, the other thing that ended up happening is that Sabres ended up hitting 100 points last night. So we had that. So it was a 4-3 game, which was the final. And what ends up happening, we end up breaking the tie late. 3 stars of the game: Peyton Krebs, number 1, Jack Quinn, number 2, Josh Norris, number 3. So if you look at the game altogether, Jack Quinn opens up on a power play at 14:19 of the first. Kel Ritchie opens up scoring in the second period at 17:57, so he ties it up. Then third period, Tage Thompson on the power play goal. So basically the first 3 goals were power play goals. He gets assisted by Norris and Quinn at 2:40 of the third. Anders Lee gets his 18th of the year, ties it up at 2-2 at 13:39 from Horvat and Schaefer. And then basically from there, what ends up happening is Peyton Krebs makes it 3-2 from Tuck and Thompson at 16:59. Bo Byram gets assisted on the empty netter from Samuelson at 18:17 of the third. And then Braden Shen ends up getting a goal with at 19:59.
Yeah, 1 second left.
Yeah. And then there's a little fight at the end after the puck ends up dropping at the 1 second mark. So there was that. But then, of course, one of the other things that happened last night is Anders Lee and Sam Carrick decided to face off and go at it, throw a little fisticuffs. And Sam Carrick is going to be out for a little bit with an arm injury.
Yeah. So I was actually at this game. The score makes it look close. It wasn't close.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Sabres did kind of dominate the Islanders, at least for stretches of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The hit that was on Norris at Lee, I felt it was a clean hit. I feel like Norris has kind of made a glass at times.
Sure.
But the Sabres definitely took exception to it. And then Carrick dropped the gloves to start the third. And something happened with his elbow or something.
Yeah, he might have landed on it. Yeah, he might have landed on it or something, but I know he was hurting for a while after him and Lee went down to the ice. And thinking about it, I think the game seemed to be a little bit closer than what it really was. I think in some ways, because there were stretches where the Islanders did show up and they were controlling play at certain points, but it just seemed like there was inconsistency. And same thing on the Sabres side. They were not consistent, especially towards that middle part of the game. But then eventually they came back. Thinking about some of the stats overall, I mean, shots on goal were fairly close. It was 33-28 in favor of the Sabres. Islanders ended up dominating on the faceoffs 54-45 in terms of the percentage. Power play, Sabres ended up going 2 for 4. Islanders went 1 for 3. Penalty minutes were pretty much even at 15 and 13 apiece. Hits were pretty much even. Islanders had 26, Sabres had 25. Block shots were not completely different. I mean, Islanders had 10, Buffalo had 15. Giveaways, though, is where the Sabres sucked because they gave up the puck 19 times. The Islanders only gave it up 12. And then the Islanders had 6 takeaways versus 1. So there were some aspects of the game where the Islanders did show up and do what they were supposed to do.
But I'll give you a little hint on that about why that stat is the way it did. The Islanders never had the puck in that game. It was pretty bad. If you got to look at puck possession because the Sabres had to have dominated the Islanders in that stat. It felt like the Islanders never had the puck, and when they did, it was quickly off their stick.
Yeah, and thinking about some of the other things that ended up coming up, I mean, penalties. I mean, the one that I know some people were talking about is Susie high sticking Benson, which that could have gone either way. That was early in the game, but then of course Norris got the 2 minutes for interference on Schaefer. Pelech ended up getting 2 minutes for high sticking Josh Stones, so that happened. There's actually quite a few high sticks because Zizekas went into the box for high sticking Byram. And then
the first 3 penalties the Islanders took were all high sticks.
Yeah.
And the interference on Schaefer, I think they would have let it go if the Sabres weren't on the power play.
Right. It's possible. And then it was also interesting at one point because Owen Power ended up getting the penalty shot for the slash from Lee. So there was that. And then Samuelson ends up getting 2 for delaying games. So, yeah, which...
Yeah, the Lee one was a little weak, but he didn't score anyway on the penalty shot.
Right, obviously. So there was that. Then, of course, to open up the third period at 1 second in, that's where we had the Carrick and Lee fight. Then Susie ends up hooking Thompson, so he went to the box. Norris ended up roughing up Scott Mayfield a little bit. Same thing with Scott Mayfield. The two of them got into a little bit of a tussle, so 2 of them went to the box, 2 for roughing. And then later and then Josh Norris actually got the extra 2 for roughing on that play. So, and that was pretty much the end of the penalties there.
Yeah, it wasn't, like I said, the score made it look close, but it really wasn't.
Yeah. So then when you look at where we're at all together, both teams, I mean, with Tampa losing, Carolina, being behind right now also, the Sabres are in first place in the Atlantic with 100 points. They're at 46-21-8. Tampa's right behind them because Tampa's been blowing some games lately. So they're 2 points behind at 46-22-6. Montreal's hanging right in there at 96 points at 43-21-10. Then when you look at the Metro, Carolina's at 100 points. Pittsburgh is at 92 and the Islanders are at 89. So, so thinking about where we are right now, the wild card teams are Boston and Columbus with Ottawa looking in, and the Sabres play them tomorrow night.
Well, the Islanders got extremely lucky the last 2 days. Even though they lost both games, they didn't really lose any ground.
Right. Yeah, because when you look at Detroit, when you look at Carolina, and then plus Philly lost, I mean, that helps. So,
and now I get to see the Islanders in Carolina on Saturday, which we never win.
Yeah. And when you look at the East right now, it's very, very tight with how the top 10 teams are because you have Carolina and Buffalo both at 100 points, and Carolina has 1 extra game in hand. So that's where we're at there. Tampa's in third with 98. Montreal's in fourth with 96. Boston's in fifth with 94, but they're actually only in a wild card spot right now. Then when you look at Pittsburgh, they have 92. Islanders are in seventh place overall in the East at 89 points. But then you have you have Columbus, Ottawa, and Detroit rounding up the top 10 with basically Columbus having 88, and Ottawa and Detroit are in a dead heat right now. They're at 86 games, but Detroit has the extra win right now. So it's 39, 27, and 8. But then Ottawa has one less loss at 38, 26, and 10. So they have the better record based on the overtime.
Yeah, somebody's going to have a great record this year and miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Hoping it's not the Islanders, but we'll see.
Right. And it's crazy to think that. Like, I would have never personally thought that the East would be this tight this year, because that doesn't happen. I mean, even the West Coast, the Western Conference is usually wide open also when you look at that, because I mean, really, with how the Western Conference is right now, I mean, the best team in the league right now is Colorado with 108 points. So the next closest team is Dallas at 100. So it's just absolutely crazy. Yeah. And then you have Minnesota, Utah, Nashville somehow snuck in, Winnipeg, St. Louis, and Chicago for your 8 teams. But then Anaheim, Edmonton, Vegas, we're going to talk about them in a moment, because they had some major changes in the last 2 nights. Yeah, the Kings, Sharks, Kraken are still fighting the Flames, and of course the Vancouver Canucks have been eliminated. So when you look at everything all together, it's just absolutely crazy how the playoffs would be if it started today. So we'll talk about that in a moment. We'll run down some of the matchups if it were to start today. But Jay says that was one of the worst defensive games he's seen from the Islanders.
I was trying to figure out which game he was talking about, the 8-3 loss to the Penguins or the 4-3 loss to the Sabres.
Right.
There's been quite a bunch of horrible defensive games this year from the Islanders.
Right. And I was going to say, Schaefer can only do so much. Yeah, but thinking about some of those playoff matchups, and this was like changing like crazy last night with all the game action, but in the East right now, with how it stands, Buffalo and Boston would be the matchup.
Oh.
And then we'd have Tampa and Montreal, Carolina and Columbus. And right now, if everything were to start today, the Islanders would be playing Pittsburgh.
Yeah. One of our favorite playoff teams.
Yeah. Yep. I'm also
so Jay said both games. Well, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But
unfortunately, they're like, our best defenseman is 18 years old and he's playing 30 plus minutes a night.
Right.
And it's
which
ridiculous.
Is
and he was actually on for the Tuck game-winning goal. And he was getting a lot of heat because he didn't pick up Tuck as the trailer. But like, Soucy was the veteran defenseman on with him, and he made just a horrible play trying to knock the puck out of the air instead of just knocking it down and clearing it. That led to that goal. So you could say what you want about Shaver, but it was the veteran defenseman Soucy that made just a horrible play. Right.
And it's just going to get tighter from here on out, especially when you're down to like the last 7 or 6-7 games left. I mean, there's not much room for error when you think about it. So
it really isn't. That's why I'm surprised that the Islanders are still in it, dropping these last 2 games, the last 2 days.
Right. Yeah. It's nuts to see how everything in the East is lining up. But then when you look out in the West, it's also interesting because right now in the first round, Colorado would have Nashville. And I wouldn't have thought like 3 months ago, Nashville would have even had a chance in hell of getting into the playoffs. But somehow they turned it around. So, but Nashville will be one and done in that one because Colorado will just smoke them.
Mostly the turnaround with them was Steven Stamkos finally scoring.
Yeah, finally. And then when you look at some of the other matchups in round 1, Dallas would have Minnesota. That would be a good series to watch, I think. And then Anaheim and Utah. That could be interesting. Utah's hungry. Anaheim wants to prove themselves. And then you have Edmonton and Vegas, which is always a bloodbath. And
I'm just surprised at how bad Edmonton has been this year, though.
yeah,
Really
I
bad.
mean, right. I mean, you look at what they did. Of course, there's the whole thing with Skinner. Then, of course, on top of it, then you trade for Tristan Jerry, and he's done absolutely nothing. And they have goaltending hell right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of their lineup's not even that great. So,
But sorry, I'm still eating here.
oh, you're good.
Trying to finally catch up.
It's all good. So good. But it's just.
But I guess we could talk about the Vegas big news. Since,
yeah.
I mean, that was just nuts with Cassidy going out and Tortorella in. I don't.
Yeah.
Tortorella just keeps coming back again too. I don't understand what is it about this guy.
Right. Especially when he said Philly was his last ever stop, and then all of a sudden Bruce Cassidy gets fired. They bring in John Tortorella with like less than 10 games to go. It's like, why would you make the change now?
Oh no, it's crazy. All it takes is for you to win one Stanley Cup and you could have like a 20-25 year career out of one cup.
Right. Yeah. And then Torts actually was complimenting Bruce Cassidy. He said basically he's inheriting a team that actually is in really good shape.
Mm-hmm.
So all I gotta ask though is Mitch Marner is like, yeah, we'll see how long he lasts in Vegas.
I don't know. He's kind of an explosive coach, so I don't see him lasting very long there. Because I feel like Eichel's going to tune out, Marner's going to tune out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to do well with a coach like him.
Yeah, Mark Stone will probably want out. A lot of their vets will probably want out.
It was just kind of a shocking move for them. I know they've had a bad run, but they make some crazy moves.
Right.
They got rid of Marc-Andre Fleury the year after he won the Venza. Right. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and they won the cup.
Uh-huh.
So
they just don't have patience, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like they want to pull the trigger like too quick in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, they've had a lot of success. They've only missed the playoffs once in their franchise history, which, I mean, that's good. Then again, they've bought all these players, but at the same time, it's almost as if, what was really the problem with Cassidy, though? Because Cassidy's not a horrible coach by any means.
No. I know a bunch of Islander fans are clamoring to bring him in as coach and replace Wah.
Right.
I don't know if I particularly like him that much. I don't really like Wah, but I don't know.
Right. Oh, Bobby hates Wah. He wanted him out already.
Oh, I know that.
Like a few months ago. Which I'm actually kind of surprised he hasn't come on to have a little mini rant, even though I know he's not going to be coming back really until probably the football draft. But it's but I mean, on the flip side, we got to the two of us got to see a picture of him starting his son watching hockey. So he's starting him young and bringing him up the right way.
There you go.
Yeah. But oh yeah, he absolutely hates Wah with a passion. So, and then Jay ends up mentioning, and Edmonton's on a 4-game win streak. So yeah, they're making a little bit of moves. And then he says, "We're not ending this show until we talk about the slumping Mets." We'll get into that. And
do we really have to?
Yeah, they're not off to a good start. I'll tell you that.
So let's see.
But
going down the list here, then we have Grabowski charged with assault.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's see what happened with that story.
Yep. So obviously with that, so
ex-NHL are charged with assaulting opposing coach after a youth hockey game.
Yeah. Not exactly smart. Not smart. So, yeah, so CBC out of Toronto, they basically mentioned that former Maple Leafs forward Mikhail Grabovski was charged with assault following an incident at a minor league hockey game in Markham, Ontario, which is right outside of Toronto. Court records show that the charge was sworn on March 30th with a first court appearance scheduled for June 12th in Newmarket. York Regional Police said officers responded to the Markham Community Center on March 14th for a report of an assault and that the victim was taken to a hospital with minor injuries. And the court documents said that Grabovski assaulted a person named Warren Cooper. Then the Toronto Star reported the charge stems from an alleged altercation between coaches following an under-15 playoff game earlier in the month that involved the Markham Waxers and the York Simcoe Express. Hey, two good team names there. And the team's websites list Grabovski as the head coach of the Waxers and Cooper as the head coach of the Express. When asked about parental discipline, the Ontario Minor Hockey Association says it's aware of the situation, does not condone the type of behavior, and will have no further comment. As a condition of release, Grabovski is prohibited from contacting Cooper or going to any place Cooper is known to be. So, and it's not the first time he's faced legal action because he also had a civil suit filed against him in September 2010 in BC Supreme Court, which alleged that he assaulted a couple during a confrontation in downtown Vancouver during the 2010 Olympics. He was selected to play for Belarus, but did not compete due to injury. And then, of course, at that time, the case was dismissed in 2018 before reaching trial. So basically, he probably paid them off.
Probably. I mean, it does seem like there's a little bit of a pattern. I know it must be a slow media day in the Toronto hockey sphere. Too. I feel like this is why players don't really want to play in Toronto because they seem to just search out these stories.
Yeah.
I don't even think Austin Matthews really wants to play for the Maple Leafs anymore.
Right. He probably wants out once he can get out. And even there was a link to the story on CBC where it's not the first time Grabovski has been involved in any disciplinary actions or suspensions or anything like that, because one of the things that they brought up was back during his playing days in 2013, Grabovski was alleged to have actually bitten Canadiens forward Max Pacioretty at the time, getting bit on the wrist.
Another biting incident?
Yeah. Apparently it happened during a scrum in the third period at the Bell Center back at that time. And apparently, Pacioretty got bit in the wrist and then apparently ended up it was at a time where Max Pacioretty had no gloves on, reached from behind, put his arm across Grabovski's mouth and his face, attempting to take off the helmet. And then apparently Grabovski was like right to the wrist.
Weird. He seems so mild mannered when he was with the Islanders, but I guess throw the book at him now.
Uh-huh. Hey, it's the water in Toronto. Who knows?
Jay says he's a maniac. Why are you assaulting a couple? Yeah. I don't know. What did the couple do?
Yeah. Do you have bath salts or something?
Hammer, you should work for ESPN.
Hey, if ESPN wants to pick up the show, they can pay all of us, and hey, it's all good. Hey, just cut a check to Dame, myself, John, and Bobby here, and hey, we'll work for you. Just our one condition is we stay uncensored and we run the show our way and how we want it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be censored.
No, me either.
After all, I mean they are owned by ABC and they do censor quite a bit.
Yeah. And actually, then of course their parent company is Disney, and they censor even more.
Yeah. Which is hilarious, but whatever.
Right. Although apparently they did kind of censor Pat McAfee a little bit compared to what his show used to be before they picked him up. So,
oh boy.
Yeah. That's why the third hour on YouTube is actually the best hour, because he can say whatever he wants. So. Yeah, but hey, you never know. Maybe we should create our own radio station that runs 24/7 on the internet, and we can have some live shows on there. We could possibly have some like content that we've had before, and who knows? Maybe if someone wants to come on and be another thing here, we could. Jay mentions you guys should have a TVMA posted especially for Buffalo. Watch the very beginning in the disclaimer because we actually do have a TVMA logo on the top of the screen on the left.
Yeah, we're pretty mild mannered. Bob is the one that says the crazy shit.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say our show's a little tame since he left. I mean, we still say whatever we want, but yeah, it is a little tame. So
He gets everybody else riled up.
yes, he does, which is all good. But that's why if people watch us on the YouTube show, that's why we have the disclaimer that basically says our opinions are our opinions, or they're not related to our LLC, and basically you can't sue us. So that's that.
Yeah, I don't have anything. The kids took it all.
Yeah, and I don't have anything. My ex took it. So
Well, that too.
yeah. So yeah, basically you guys get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
You can have my hat.
yeah, I can give you this half-drank bottle of water. So
Oh no, I'm taking the Maker's Mark.
yeah, there we go. the half-drunken bottle of Maker's Mark is only worth maybe $17 now instead of $35.
There you go. That's something. That's
A little
something.
something. Yeah, a little something. So, Jay's laughing.
James just laughing.
Yeah, but yeah, we do have the disclaimer in the intro beforehand, so it's there. And actually, our friends over at Nickel City Crew, they're going to have the same disclaimer we do going forward because I just built their new intro. So they're going to debut a new intro for the 2026 season, which will be starting.
Whoa.
Yes. So just want to say thanks to Rob and DT over there for giving me that opportunity to build them a new intro, and they're looking forward to debuting it once their season starts up.
Nice.
Yeah. And of course, now it has the same disclaimer we have. So basically, they can't sue them either. So,
Maybe they have more money than we do. I have no idea.
yeah, I don't think they do necessarily. But similar situation, you ain't getting nothing. So there is that. But that being said, also, yeah, what's up?
Oh, I was gonna say, did you want to get into baseball?
Well, actually, there is one other thing on the hockey side of things, though, and that's
Okay.
the 26-27 season is going to start September 29th.
Yeah, that's pretty early.
Yeah. Usually it's like first week of October or second week of October.
Yeah, usually first week of October, even bleeding into like the second week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty early.
Yeah, a little early this year, but hey, it's not a bad thing. We'll see it, and all part is good. So who knows?
Yeah.
It's a little more hockey that everyone can take a look at. So it's
Well, I know the Islanders with the condensed schedule have had like a million back-to-back games, including these last 2 days, where they were at home against Pittsburgh and then had to fly to Buffalo the next day to play the Sabres.
Right. So, it'll be interesting how this season ends, but definitely looking forward to next season though. And actually, one other thing, Ovechkin still got it because he hit number 30 again. So. Yep. Just crazy.
I still want to see him go for 1,000, but I have a feeling he's going to want to go over to Russia soon and finish his career there. So
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last season we see him over here.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it may be. And as I say, and if this is Ovechkin's last NHL season, what a hell of a career he had over here. I'll tell you that. So definitely one of the fun ones to watch, to say the least. But that being said, hey, let's jump a little bit into baseball because the Mets shit the bed again. They lost to St. Louis 2-1 today. And Jay actually mentions, guys, Lindor's in La La Land. Like, what the fuck happened today?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think him and Soto particularly get along too well. I was very against bringing Soto in. And I feel like since they brought him in, this team has just fallen apart. But I'm not willing to throw in a towel or say they're sinking already. It's early in the season. 6 games in, they're 3-3. The offense definitely is not clicking.
Right.
The pitching looks good though, so that's
a step in the right direction.
Yeah. But I've watched a couple of the games and it's just so weird to see the lineup that they're running out now, with no Nimmo and no McNeil and no Alonso,
Right.
no Marte. It's like, geez, I'm like, who is even on this team anymore?
Yeah, seriously. And they're still fifth in they're fifth in the NL East. I mean, the St. Louis is the second in the NL Cardinal, but or NL Central, but I mean, there's still plenty of games that the Mets can get on track, and we kind of saw this last season at some points where they got off to that slow start, hit that nice little stride, getting in towards the middle part of the season. Then they tended to trail off a little bit.
Yeah,
but we've seen that the last couple of years.
I'd rather see them right now be slow and steady right now, because they did get off, like I said, after the initial start. They were one of the hottest teams in baseball, and they were at the top. And then we just watched a slow decline all the way down until the last week of the season when they missed the playoffs. And I can't take another season like that again.
Right. Exactly. And, and give you guys some scores from earlier. I mean, right now in the top of the sixth, Kansas City is up on Minnesota 5-1. Dodgers are losing to Cleveland 2-0 in the top of the fifth, which actually they've started. The Dodgers have started three Japanese-born starters in a row, which is absolutely
crazy.
Nuts. Yeah.
Well, that's what they're getting all the Asian players now.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Jay says Lindor forgot a double play in the first because he forgot how many outs. Like, where's your head at?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's getting disinterested, especially after they got rid of the whole damn team last year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're still top 10 in the league salary wise, so you better get your shit together pretty fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of it, Atlanta beats the Athletics 5-1. Baltimore ends up beating the Texas Rangers 8-3. Paul Skeens had a bounce back after he totally shit the bed on opening day. He ended up beating Cincinnati 8-3. So that was a good road win for them. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are actually 3-3 right now. Same thing with Cincinnati. Philly beats.
Oh wait, they're 3-3 too, Pittsburgh. Oh yeah, this is a bad season for the Mets.
Yeah. And then Washington ends up losing to the Phillies 6-5. But yeah, Washington and Philly are 3-3 also. And then Toronto loses to Colorado in the 10th inning 2-1, which Colorado's after losing ways. They're 2-4 right now. Toronto's 4-2. But how about this for a start? The Chicago White Sox get blown out 10-0 in Miami. Miami is 5-1 to start the season. Chicago is 1-5, and Miami only had 6,700 in attendance for that game.
Crazy. And you and Jay are on the same page.
Yeah. I don't get it. It's like Miami doesn't invest in their team, and yet they're off to a hot start.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about baseball. The season is so long that eventually things will right itself.
Yeah. Think about it this way. It's like watch Colorado go in like a 20-game losing streak multiple times, and they'll be back where they normally are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But last time I went to Chicago, I went to a Cubs game and I went to a White Sox game.
Nice.
And the new Comiskey Park was built in like the 90s.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think like early 90s.
Old. It's horrible stadium. I was like, wow. I was like, I think anything built in the 90s just was not great.
Yeah. And I was going to say also, I think that I know the White Sox are looking to move the ballpark now.
Insane.
Yeah. I was going to say, how is Wrigley, though, since you've been there?
I liked Wrigley. It was nice. Unfortunately, when I went there, it was during their last renovation. So parts of the ballpark were like inaccessible. There was a lot of construction going on. But it was fun. It was good. I mean, I love the older ballparks.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't mind taking a game out at Wrigley and then maybe seeing one at Fenway at some point, just for the history of it.
Fenway.
Yeah, well, it's funny because Fenway and Wrigley put in new scoreboards, so they've got that, and so did the Orioles this year. So they got that going. Yeah, and everyone's bitching that the Orioles have a massive screen now. It's like it looks fine. It looks fine. You had
I've been to Baltimore too. That was a great stadium.
Yeah, Philadelphia is a nice park. I mean, I've been to the Mets. I've been to Citi Field like 5 times. So,
well, you beat me because I think I've been there twice. Hoping to go again this year.
Yeah, or actually, wait, no, I think I've been there 4. Now I think about it, because I've been there 3 times with Bobby. I've been there once with my friend Kate. Went to Philadelphia once, where me and Bobby ended up watching an 8-0 blowout of the Guardians when the Phillies ended up playing, and I watched Schwarber fucking crush one.
I haven't been to Philly for the stadium though. I haven't been there.
It's a nice ballpark. On the opposite side on the third baseline side of home plate, there's actually a pretty decent barbecue over there. But the stadium itself, I thought sightlines were great. Really liked it. They have the bell, obviously. So anytime that there's a home run, they had that going on. But we ended up sitting right along the first baseline and had really nice seats. So it was nice. A very nice park. So I liked it. Yeah. And then rounding out some of the action, Milwaukee beats Tampa 8-2. Houston beats Boston 6-4. The Chicago Cubs beat the LA Angels of Anaheim 6-2, which Anaheim is trying to force them to revert their name to the Anaheim Angels at this point. So the politicians want the name to change. Arizona beats Detroit 1-0. San Francisco, the Giants lose 7-1 to the Padres. So that was a blowout there. And then, of course, Toronto and Chicago were postponed earlier. So that's how it all worked out.
Yeah, I think my dog's trying to get my attention for a walk.
Gotcha. Yeah, so obviously as we get more into the season, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the news coming up. But it is kind of interesting though, because tonight against the Guardians, Shohei Ohtani is bringing in a 36-game on base streak.
Oh my God!
And we got the puppy.
What's going on, Rose?
There you go. Yeah. We have our first, actually our second dog on the show now. Our friend Julie from the Buffalo Sabres Chick had her dog on the one time she was on with us. Yeah. She might be coming back later in the season too. Definitely, she's interested to come back. Which actually, of course, if anyone wants to check out her Facebook page, go to Buffalo Sabres Chick, and check out some of her content there. So it's good stuff, and of course her bagel place in Rochester, Soho Bagel over in Greece.
Oh. I was just in Greece last summer too.
Yeah, nice. I'm gonna be out in Rochester next month. Actually, I'm gonna take a ride out there. So, there was something I wanted to go out and see that's gonna be coming up, and so I might take a stop in there when I'm out there. It'll probably be earlier in the morning, which is good. I might be able to catch her there.
Sweet.
Yeah. But shout out to her also. She gave us a shout out on her page earlier, and she's like loving the fact that the Sabres are actually in the playoffs. So she's like, I don't know, like she ended up mentioning like she didn't know like what got them there, and she was actually thinking either she actually gave us credit on the logo we were designed for her. So I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the interview is tonight too at 10 o'clock, right?
Yes, it is. So 10 o'clock p.m. You guys get to watch Radar Holt, Robert Radar Holt.
I can pull it up.
Yeah. So he'll be on with us 10 p.m. Eastern time. So
I don't know. No, not that. Come on.
Yeah.
I thought I can get rid of us.
Nah, it's all right. But yeah, Radar Holt will be on the show tonight. I will tell you, it was a fun interview when we had him on.
There we go.
And a lot of fun stories that he was able to tell us. So if you guys want to check that out, 10 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, we'll have it up on Spotify as well. Definitely a fun time, and some old school Bills football, old school college football we talked about, especially during his time in Baylor. So yeah, great to see. But it was also fun too. So what the Buffalo Sabres Chick mentioned Was it Lindy firing Kevin or the guys at I-86 After Dark making this cool new logo? This is the most fun I've had watching hockey in 15 years. Give us the X already, which the clinched a spot. So hey, very cool. So, guys, definitely give her a follow.
Oh yeah, I had a good time at the game yesterday. Good conversation with a couple people around me, and some friendly chirping back and forth. So
yep, of course. And then the other thing that I can also say is that just like I have one of the just like I had one of the plaques that I bought on the 2010s column over at the KeyBank Center. Apparently Julie has one also. So it's all good stuff. But it's interesting because then she ended up mentioning apparently they may have taken down some of the plaques as of late.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently the thought is that there were spots that you would buy, and apparently now it's one of those things where she said she looked over 90 minutes on the column. She couldn't find it. So
that's odd.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder. It's like, you know what? Maybe I had to drive down there and make sure mine's still on one of the columns over there.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah. I mean, they better not have taken it down. I fucking paid over $100 for it. Or at least send me the damn thing if you're taking it down. I mean, my address changed obviously in that time, but my old house, I mean, I still have family that lives in my old house, so
yeah,
not like I wouldn't get it.
I used to have a plaque at World of Beer at the Galleria Mall for drinking 250 beers, and then they closed, and I never got the plaque. It just sat in there.
Oh man, I was gonna say they should have given you the plaque, or if they still have other places open, maybe see if they can send you one.
They have a couple places, but most of them are in like Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I would think they might still be able to send you something though.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't really care that much.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I guess it was like something. Yeah, I remember because I responded back to her $100 and it's supposed to stay there. So, who knows? I mean, but yeah, now it gives me a thing. Maybe I'll take a ride down there, see if it's still there.
You better go find it.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is on what column too. It'll take me like all of 2 minutes to find it. And if I find out it's not there, then I should raise some holy hell and be like, I'm one of the hosts on this podcast, damn it. Put it back up.
Yeah, we're going to talk shit.
Yeah, exactly. We'll curse you for the fucking playoffs.
So what day is the NFL draft?
So that actually is interesting you mentioned that because they're starting to build a stage over in Pittsburgh. So basically with when that comes up, it is going to start on April 23rd, Thursday night. So yeah.
So Bobby's coming back around that time.
Yeah, he should be back around that time. And actually, it was funny because I got an email from NFL.com. It's like, hey, come meet your favorite players for autograph sessions at the draft. So I'm like, okay. I mean,
cool.
Yeah, be a pain in the ass to drive down there, but I wouldn't mind going to see it.
So. All right. Well, you want to start wrapping up the show so I can go take Rosie for a W here?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of quick things. He mentioned so Jay mentioned real quick, what about the surprise down in Miami as a shocker 5-1? We did cover that a little earlier. Then he said there's a card show in Philly this summer, trying to catch a Phillies game. Yeah, Jay, I'll tell you, Citizens Bank Park, nice ballpark. Me and Bobby were in the lower bowl. We sat around the first baseline, great view of everything, and get to see the scoreboard and the bell up on the right side. So yeah, but check out the stadium. A lot of nice stuff about the World Series in there too. And then Jay says the Central Division sucks. Yeah, you're not kidding. So, but
all right.
Well, yeah. But
wait, bye.
Yeah, you got the puppy to attend to, and then in the meantime,
she's a mean pit bull.
Yeah. Aww. So of course, if you guys want to stick around 10 p.m., watch the interview with Robert Radar Holt. former Bills wide receiver. Of course, we'll have everything up on Spotify as well. So if you want to check out any of our stuff wherever you are, feel free to go there, or you can check us out on YouTube. Check out our friends Buffalo Sabres Check over on Facebook. Check out Nickel City Crew on YouTube as well. They've got some stuff that's going to be coming up. And then, of course, Jay says, great show, guys, and Rosie. So, he's acknowledging the dog. So, good.
There's a whole lot of Rosie.
Yes, there is. So good to see. But other than that, we'll wrap up for another week. So, of course, come back next Wednesday. We'll be here. And meantime, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. And we will see you next week.
See you guys next week. Have a good one.